Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Robbie the Painter. I'm Robbie, and we have a 16 by 20 pre-stretched canvas, and I thought we would do a seascape, some sort of ocean painting. This one's going to be a little different. What we're going to do with measuring tape, let's get started on this. We're just going to measure down, figure out how much sky we want, how much ocean. Get a pencil. Let's bring our measuring tape over here. Let's come down about 5.5 inches. You decide how much sky you want. 5.5. 5.5. So I'm using a pot pie container. My wife likes chicken pot pies, and I save the containers. Use it for black gesso, liquid clear, linseed oil, stuff like that. Just a throwaway container. You can wipe these out and reuse them too. Now we could take a ruler and draw a line across and connect these marks that we made at 5.5 inches down. I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna eyeball it and get some black gesso on here, and we're gonna do a horizon line. And I'm gonna come underneath my lines so I can see where the paint is actually applying and move up to the line, and I'm going to come across, basically. So I'm moving up towards the line, come across, touch that one, and clean it up a little bit. And we have a horizon line. Just that quick. I didn't run the colors yet that we're using today. I usually do that at the beginning, but it's okay. We'll run them now. After we're done with our gesso, which we're going to use black and white, and probably a combination of both to make a gray, then we'll switch over to oil paints once this is dry. So I'm going to run those right over here. Those are our paints that we're going to use. Okay, we're going to let the black gesso dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to add some white gesso to our little pot pie container opposite of where you poured the black in. Put it on the other side because we're going to mix. We want to keep them separate in case we need to go back into the black. Keep the white separate because we're going to be adding straight white, but we're going to also mix up gray. So we're going to have the black and the white mix. We'll be back in a few minutes when this is dry. Okay, we're back. And I think most of this is dry. Remember, you wash your brushes in warm water with the black gesso. Hope you guys enjoy this. I thought this would be something different. You know, when we do the landscapes and we do all that stuff, but I like different sometimes. I like creating stuff out of my own mind and not looking at somebody else's photo. So, you know, I looked at some pictures online of what killer whales looked at. I sketched out a few on my own, and I'm going off of my own sketch. So if these are wrong, it's because I goofed up. I think they're okay. You know, I always say stand back and look at what you're doing. You may see something that you need to fix, or you like it. That's always good when you get it right the first time. I usually don't. I have to do what I'm doing now, and that's just come back and adjust, make some adjustments. And if you're not very good at drawing, I'm usually not good at animals or people. I've never been good at animals or people. I'm okay with some of this stuff. But if you don't do any drawing at all, project an image on there and trace it out, or print something out on a paper, put that behind your canvas and shine a light behind both of them. And it'll project the image on your canvas, and you can pencil that in. You know, tape your tape your picture to the back of the canvas, and then get a light, use a table or something, set the light on the table and put your canvas. That way you've got two free hands and you can trace that. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. As you can see, I went to go wash my brushes out and I just couldn't help myself. I saw a couple other things. I put a little concrete hand down here at the bottom, added some more seaweed stuff, and I came over here and put a crack in the bottom of the sea floor. I think we're ready to sign this thing. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, welcome to the special edition update episode on the painting I did, Orcas at Play. And the reason I'm doing an update, when I turned the cameras off and I was done with that particular episode, I kept walking by the painting and I liked the way it was, but I kept seeing more stuff and more stuff. And so I would come in and grab the brush and add something and walk away and come back and add something and walk away. And I didn't film any of that. I apologize for that. But like I tell you guys a lot of times, sometimes you just feel like painting, and you gotta grab those moments when you're feeling creative and just go in and paint. And that's the way I felt with this particular painting, Orcas at Play. So with that in mind, I thought I would show you what I did. Let's come up here to the upper left-hand corner. The first thing I put in that wasn't on the original painting was this large tree up here. No leaves on it, but I felt like the painting needed something up here in the top. So I went with the large tree. Instead of leaves, I have little blackbirds sitting up in the branches. Kind of hard to see, but they're sitting up there. I put a couple blackbirds up in the sky. I don't know what kind of birds. There's some sort of, blackbird, might be crows, I don't know. But that's what I did as far as in the sky and then in the tree. And then we come down here to the trees and the bushes. I added some shading, shadows, kind of darkened some of the bases of these bushes and trees up just to give it more contrast. The more I looked at this grassy area, I liked some of the darker greens and the lighter greens, but it didn't really have a lot of shadow and shading on it. So I added that. Like this hill right here is one of my favorite parts. It makes this light part up here look higher, and then this kind of slopes down here where I added the shading to it. So I really like that. And as we come across here, just a little bit of dark here and there on these bushes and little trees or whatever they are. So that's what I did up there. Didn't really do anything the shoreline. I left that alone. So we'll come down here to the lower left-hand corner. Here's where things started to get real fun for me. I wanted to put fish in here. So I put in these little red fish. They kind of look like angelfish to me. I don't know what they are. I didn't look at anything. I just kind of made some fish shapes, and I tried to make them all look the same type of shape, just bigger and smaller. So there's a school of these red fish down here, and I used midnight black to get their body shapes, and then I went back with bright red for the color of their bodies, and then took my liner brush and just a dot for the eyes on a couple of the bigger ones. So that was the fish. And then here, if you'll notice from the original painting episode that we did, I had seaweed near the bottom of this ocean floor coming up and floating up, but it was just using midnight black, or I think I did a combination of midnight black and maybe some blue. It didn't have any color to it. So I got some sap green and a little midnight black to give it me a darker green, and I started adding that to the seaweed, and then I used titanium white to lighten up that green, and I went back and added some more. So we have several colors of seaweed going on, and I think it really turned out good. So that's the seaweed. As we move across, you'll see more of the seaweed. The next thing I did was this ancient statue, this head of a statue that's buried on the seafloor. We don't know what's attached underneath that. If his body is there, we know his hand is over here somewhere, but what I did with him was put some highlights on him. Didn't really have a whole lot of highlights to his face, so I added highlights to his chin, his lips, his nose, his cheekbones, and then I added little curly cues to represent the hair on this marbled statue. So I think it turned out pretty good, and I wasn't really happy with that statue head the way it was before, so I really like it now. It's gotten much better. As we move across, I put some starfish in. There's one there and there's another one over here on the right-hand side. And I used Indian yellow and then a little titanium white at the very top. His little legs that come out, put titanium white as a highlight on the top of the legs. Then I took midnight black and I put it in between his little legs as a shadow color. I also took some of that midnight black and a little bit of linseed oil and kind of made some shading. You'll notice some of the ocean floor has a little more shade, shadows to it, a little more color down there. And as we come across, we've got the main orca right here, our killer whale. What I did with all three of the killer whales was I just went over the white markings and just made those stand out. Even though they're underwater, I left this one shaded with the blue just to show you that even though they're underwater, yes, they would have some blue to them, but these other ones were getting kind of lost in the ocean, and I wanted to really see these markings on the killer whales. So I went over the white areas and it really made them pop. As we keep moving over, here's the the marble hand of this guy over here sticking up. I don't know if I'm done with the hand yet. I'm not real good at doing hands, and I'm not real happy with that, but it does look better than it did. And then I added a little bit to the seaweed around it and a little more shading and shadow. Here's another starfish. Again, I highlighted the killer whale, white parts, white markings on it. Over here, I kind of went crazy with the seaweed and really added quite a bit of green and lighter green, a little bit of midnight black, and darkened up this sea floor. It makes this orca stand out more. And so I really like this area over here on this side of the painting. And my favorite part, I think, is this little guy here, this little puffer fish. I basically used Indian yellow and did a little ball and then put a tail and a little fin out in front of him. And then I went back with some titanium white and put some spots. I took midnight black and I dotted an eye, and then very carefully I took titanium white for a little pupil to put on his eye, and then a little midnight black on his belly underneath as a shadow. So that is what I did to change this painting. I hope you like the difference. I think it turned out really good. I like the changes. So there we go. I wanted to show you guys, again, I say this a lot on some of my episodes, just when you think you're done with a painting, sometimes you just need to let it, set. Might be a good painting, and you might be done with it. The more I walk by my room here and looked in through the hallway, I kept seeing stuff. I saw these little fish, I saw the seaweed, I needed color, and I would walk in and add something and walk away and come back in and add something. Sometimes you feel like just painting and you need to do it, while you're creative, while you're feeling creative. So hope you guys enjoyed this update. It just shows you where you can take a painting and take it to the next level. I will see you on the next full episode, which should be coming up soon. Bye-bye.